Okay, everyone, this is my spoiler review of X-Men the Animated Series, Season 3, Episode 18, Orphan's End. This originally came out February 25th, 1995. So this episode to me really feels like a version of Cyclops' story with his father that reminds me a lot of the third Indiana Jones film. And it's cool that they do a story like this and fit it in nicely in a 20-minute runtime with some really good action in it, too. So it opens with Commander Ragnar calls the X-Men bright and early, and there's something charming about the X-Men loving coffee, and you see Storm and Cyclops are the ones up, and it's cool seeing Storm here with her ponytail while she's in her Storm attire. So the first time we see that in the show. Now where Commander Ragnar is lying is he's saying he's asking them to help out on the call and authority of Empress Lilandra, which is not the case. The big reveal of this episode is that Ragnar is playing everybody, and it's a story of these Shi'Ar cops and police, and this being this rogue commander, they're all corrupt and are the actual bad guys here, but they're framing it like there's a criminal vehicle that got away, that it's on its way to Earth. So this is where Cyclops and Storm answer the call, and it's revealed that Corsair is the one that is in this vehicle, and they rescue him, and that's where you get the moment where on his dog tag, Cyclops goes, "Wait a minute, this is a picture of me, my brother, and my mother." So you're wondering from the last time we saw Corsair, you're wondering, okay, how is Cyclops going to figure out that this is really his father? And there's your answer, and that Cyclops thought this whole time his father was dead. I love that Ragnar has no patience with Cyclops dealing with his daddy issues. He's like, "Give me Corsair now," and then he just starts firing away at them. And I love when Storm just blows away enemy ships with wins easily. And now they go on this underground monorail, and there's a great moment with Cyclops letting out his frustration to his father. He's like, "It was your family you sacrificed. You threw us away so you could knock around the galaxy." But his father's like, "That's not what happened." But Cyclops has this great line. We really feel for him when he says, "Did I imagine the orphanage, the foster families didn't want me?" And I love in this moment that's very emotional between him and his father, Storm is just there like looking back at him like, should I even be in this car right now? And then we'll get the backstory from Corsair, and he explains that a Shi'Ar ship had shot the family on a plane, and they pushed Cyclops and his brother into a parachute. He thought they weren't going to make it because the parachute was burning, and that him and his wife were imprisoned on the attacker ship, which was the Shi'Ar. Of course, this involves D'Ken, and he says that D'Ken killed his wife in front of him, which is just brutal. So he's like, "As far as I knew, my entire family was gone. I had no reason to go home." This is where he wins Cyclops over, and Cyclops shows his understanding by giving back the dog tags. A nice moment. And there's even a nicer moment when Cyclops ponders and says to him, "If you knew me and my brother were alive, would you have come to save us?" And he says back, "Not even the Shi'Ar slave pins could stop him from finding them." So that was great. Cyclops has a great moment here in action too, where the Shi'Ar cars start trying to blast at Cyclops, and he's like, if that's the way they want to play it, and he just totally annihilates one. That was really good Cyclops moment in action. I also love that when Ragnar is calling out Corsair and framing him as this evil kidnapper and murderer in front of Cyclops, Corsair says to Cyclops, "I wanted to save her, but also fuel ain't cheap." Talking about saving Jandra, but it's just that line about fuel ain't cheap is so funny to me. He probably shouldn't have said that, and it makes Cyclops flip on him, and he takes Corsair now as prisoner. But I love this shot when he decides to arrest his father, that there's this awesome animation of the shine on Cyclops' visor. I always like that effect when we see his face. It's a nice touch. This is where Corsair's telling Cyc, like, look, the Shi'Ar police, they're bad cops, but he's really not listening. Now the Starjammers kidnap Storm, and they're calling out the X-Men for betraying Corsair to the evil commander because they know what's really happening here, where Storm and Cyclops have not figured this out yet. This is where we see Jandra. Now this is the only thing that I thought was a little confusing about this episode. They could have done a better job at just maybe giving us even like a quick scene with Jandra at the beginning of even the whole episode, just to understand who is this girl, what's really happening here that's on the line. They kind of shoehorn it in by dialogue to explain her story. But the pilot on the ship shows Cyclops the truth, that this is all a cover-up for the planned murder of Jandra by this corrupt commander, and this is where they get Corsair out. And it was cool when they used this reflective panel to shoot back at the Shi'Ar ship, and then you see how Cyclops wants his dad to stay a few hours and catch up after this mission is over, and Chode's just like, "Oh no, break out the cards," because they do not want to stay around here and wait for this. And Corsair gives a little tease about Cyclops' mom that it reminds him how he's describing Jean. And he's like, I'll wait till after you're married to tell you that. So that's a nice little cliffhanger for that story and backstory of his mother. But overall, this is a solid episode. And I love seeing X-Men episodes and X-Men stories in general where it's not the whole team. Sometimes it's just maybe two of them, like Cyclops and Storm. So I thought that really was a nice decision for an episode like this where you had to have it really focused in on Cyclops. So you didn't want too many X-Men there. And it really gave us a payoff for meeting Corsair, where we first met him in the show. You still didn't get that confrontation that you need to have about them actually knowing they are related. So really good job at explaining it. I enjoyed it. And again, really good action here as well. And a nice plot twist with this being a corrupt police officer for the Shi'Ar. So I'm going to give this one an 8.4. Let me know what you thought of it down below. Hit that sub button so you don't miss one of my reviews of X-Men the Animated Series. I'm also going to be doing X-Men 97. And I'm also going to be doing comics. And I do reviews of the X-Men figures as well. And I'll see you next time.